My dear chosen one, the Spirit is warning me to speak this to you right now. You were not born into peace. You were born into a battlefield. From your very first breath, the war was already raging around your soul, and you have felt it your entire life, without fully understanding why. This is not a random struggle. It is not coincidence. It is a divine setup. The ground you stand on is holy, but it is contested, and God sent you here with the authority to overthrow what has been sitting on that throne for generations. Before you can move forward, you must hear this word. The battle you were born into is reaching its climax. Have you noticed how nothing in your life has ever come easy? Have you asked yourself why betrayal came so early? Why rejection was so consistent? Why the weight felt heavier on your shoulders than anyone else's? Chosen one, this was never just about you. It was about the spiritual assignment attached to your name. The enemy recognized your light long before you did, and every shadow sent against you was designed to confuse, delay, or destroy. This is why you have felt watched, opposed, and targeted in silence. But hear me. It is not paranoia. It is real, and it is spiritual. What I am about to reveal to you will shift the way you see your entire story. By the end of this message, you will understand why God placed you in the middle of this war and why He has not allowed you to walk away from it. There is something that only you can finish, something you were chosen to overthrow. And heaven is declaring that the time is now. Stay with me until the very end. And if this word is already stirring your spirit, type victory in the comments, like this video, and make sure you are subscribed. Because this revelation will not only expose the truth, it will awaken the warrior God has hidden within you. Chosen one, you have always felt that your life was marked by unusual battles, storms that seemed to come against you without warning, and obstacles that never allowed you to rest for too long. This was not just a season, not just a series of coincidences. It was the evidence of where you were placed since birth. The Spirit is revealing that you were born in the center of a war zone, and this explains why your journey has felt heavier than others. While some lived in apparent ease, you were forced to fight battles that shaped your soul and trained your spirit. And though it felt unfair, it was never without purpose. It was the sign that you were chosen for something greater, a mission that required a warrior spirit forged in fire. There has never been neutrality around your existence. Every step you took was watched, every move contested, as if invisible forces were determined to surround you in opposition. That is because the territory where you were placed was not neutral ground. It was ground already marked by a spiritual claim, a battlefield where ancient agreements had allowed darkness to build fortresses. And yet, God placed you right there, not to be swallowed by the war, but to dismantle what had been standing for far too long. This explains why peace seemed so fleeting, why resistance rose up at every turn, because you were never walking on ordinary land, but on contested territory, and your presence there was a threat. Chosen one, the Spirit reveals that this battle is not only about you, but about generations before you. You are confronting things that defeated others in your bloodline, cycles that strangled hope, and silenced voices before they could ever rise. Have you noticed the patterns? Poverty, rejection, betrayal, fear, sickness. They are not coincidences. They are ancient shadows that tried to pass from one generation to the next. But the fact that you were born into this same battlefield means you were chosen to end what no one else could. You are the one who carries the authority to overthrow it, and that is why your struggles have been so severe, because the enemy knows that your victory will break chains far beyond your own life. The signs of this war have always been with you, even when you were too young to understand them. Strange dreams that left you unsettled, sudden attacks that appeared from nowhere, atmospheres that felt heavy the moment you walked into them. All of these were spiritual indicators of where you had been positioned. Others might have dismissed them as imagination or bad luck, but deep down, you knew there was something more. Your spirit was never at ease with the explanation that life was just random. That unease, chosen one, was the whisper of the Spirit telling you that you were not walking a normal path. You were marked, and the battle around you was proof. You must understand that none of this was wasted. Every betrayal, every wound, every season of isolation was preparing you for a mission that required unshakable resilience. What felt like punishment was in fact divine preparation. The Spirit says, each tear you cried became a seed for spiritual authority. Each scar became a sword forged in fire. When you wondered why life seemed harsher on you than on others, the answer was hidden in the truth that you were being trained. The fire was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to make you untouchable. Every hardship, though it felt crushing, was carving out strength that nothing and no one will be able to break. Others could not understand what you carried, and that was part of your loneliness. People around you may have judged you, mocked you, or called you unlucky because they could not see the invisible chains you were breaking. They thought your battles were personal failures, but they never realized you were wrestling with powers and strongholds far beyond the surface. Chosen one, their misunderstanding was not your weakness. It was your sign. It proved that your life was being written by a hand they could not perceive, a script so different that only your spirit could recognize it. You were never meant to blend in. You were always meant to stand apart. The Spirit has been sending you signals all along, guiding you, whispering to your soul that the war you are in is not random but divine. That heaviness you felt was never just depression, it was spiritual warfare. That sudden isolation was not rejection, it was separation for consecration. Even the nights you thought you were abandoned, heaven was closest to you, marking you for this moment. Chosen one, what you need to realize now is that the war has always been there, but it is entering its most decisive moment. You are closer to victory than you know, and the intensity of the opposition is only the confirmation that the enemy fears the outcome. Chosen one, the Spirit is showing me that the battle around your life has intensified for a reason. Something in the atmosphere shifted, and the war that was once silent has now escalated into a storm. You may have noticed it. Heavier opposition, strange delays, people around you acting in ways that feel out of character. These are not coincidences. The enemy senses that you are nearing the breaking point of destiny, and he has increased the attack because he knows he is running out of time. This is why you feel the pressure more than ever before, why you wake up with a sense of war in your soul. It is not just stress, it is the sound of the battlefield rising to its climax, because you are close to overthrowing what has been standing for too long. This increased tension has not only come from enemies you can recognize, but from those closest to you, even from unexpected places. Have you noticed how people you once trusted suddenly shift? How conversations take turns that wound you deeply? How support turns into betrayal overnight? The Spirit is revealing that the enemy is trying to infiltrate your circle, to plant seeds of doubt, to make you question your own discernment. This is not random conflict. This is a targeted strike against your spirit, designed to make you feel alone, abandoned, and tempted to give up. But hear me. The closer the enemy comes, the clearer the exposure becomes. What is hidden will not remain hidden, and what disguises itself as light will soon be revealed for what it truly is. The enemy knows he cannot stop the anointing over your life, so instead he tries to twist it, to manipulate your emotions, to entangle your heart with voices that pretend to guide you but secretly lead you away from your assignment. Chosen one, beware of false guides who appear with secrets, wisdom, or revelations that feel enticing but are rooted in deception. They come like shepherds, but are really traps in disguise. Have you ever felt lured by advice that seemed right, yet left you confused and spiritually drained afterward? That is not coincidence. That is the enemy's tactic, to disguise himself as a messenger of light, but only to distract you from the real mission. This is why the Spirit says you must stay alert. Not everyone who appears to help you was sent by God. Some were sent as distractions, as counterfeit voices meant to imitate divine guidance while steering you toward destruction. They know how to speak the right words, how to play with your wounds, how to feed your desire for answers. But their fruit is always confusion. Their touch is always heavy, and their path always leads you away from your true assignment. You cannot afford to let your soul be entangled with lies disguised as truth. You were born in a battlefield, and in war, the most dangerous weapon is not always the sword, but the deception. The signs of this infiltration are clear if you are willing to look. Sudden exhaustion after conversations with them, confusion in your thoughts, loss of clarity in your spirit. These are not small things, chosen one. They are evidence of a spiritual drain, an assignment against your mind and soul. You must understand, the battlefield is not only external, it is internal. The enemy fights hardest in your thoughts, whispering lies, feeding doubts, and planting seeds of despair. If he can cloud your mind, he believes he can stop your mission. But the Spirit says, you are not losing your mind. You are under attack because of your power. And this is why you must guard your thoughts with truth. Every cycle of betrayal, every disappointment that came back to back, was not accidental. It was a desperate attempt to break you before you reached this moment of destiny. The enemy knows he cannot win if you keep moving forward, so he tries to make the weight unbearable, to make you question why you should even fight. But chosen one, if the attacks have increased, it is only because the enemy is panicking. He is terrified of what you are about to accomplish. The reason the resistance is strong is because your breakthrough is near. You are closer than you think, and the storm you are feeling is not your defeat. It is the evidence of your impending victory. Chosen one, I need you to understand this. The escalation of your battle is a prophetic sign. Heaven is showing you that the time to overthrow what has been standing is now. If you were not dangerous to the enemy, he would not be fighting you this hard. If you were not about to finish what you were born to finish, the attacks would not be this desperate. The Spirit says, do not be deceived by the storm. The enemy is trying to frighten you into retreat, but what he does not realize is that every strike against you has only sharpened your weapons. What looks like the darkest moment is actually the dawn of your greatest victory, because God has already positioned you to finish what you started. Chosen one, the Spirit is revealing something deeper now. You were not born to simply survive battles. You were born to overthrow a specific stronghold that has ruled for too long. This is not just about random pain or scattered trials. It is about a throne of darkness that has occupied territory in your life, your family, and your bloodline for generations. This throne believes it cannot be challenged, that it can remain hidden forever. But your very existence is proof that heaven has raised up an answer to confront it. You are that answer. That is why the war has been unrelenting, because you are standing in front of the very fortress you were sent to bring down, and its foundations are beginning to tremble at your presence. This stronghold is ancient, built on lies, fear, and deception that were passed down through time. It has disguised itself as tradition, as normal, as cycles people thought could never be broken. Look around, chosen one. Do you see patterns repeating in your family, in your history, in the stories of those who came before you? Generational curses of poverty, addiction, silence, betrayal. All of these are symptoms of that fortress. But the Spirit says, it will not stand any longer. The very reason you were placed in this battlefield was to confront what no one else could. This battle was inherited, but the victory is yours to claim. Only someone born within this territory could ever bring it down. That is why God allowed you to endure the fire from such an early age. You could not come as an outsider. You had to be raised in the very atmosphere you would one day destroy. The pain you endured was not random. It was the activation of your spiritual authority. Because you were touched by the battle, you now carry the right to break it. That is why your scars carry power, and your survival is more than survival. It is proof of ownership. You have legal authority in the Spirit to finish what began long before you. And no demon, no principality, no force of darkness can resist that authority. This is the same pattern we see in the Word of God. Was it not David, overlooked and rejected, who was called to face the giant no one else dared to confront? Was it not Joshua, who was commanded to march around Jericho until walls no human could move began to fall? These stories are not distant tales, they are prophetic mirrors of what is happening in your life right now. The Spirit says, your giant has risen, your walls are towering, but the anointing placed on you is the very weapon designed to bring them down. You were not chosen for small victories, you were chosen for impossible ones. Every wound you have carried has been training for this moment. The betrayals hardened your discernment. The losses sharpened your vision. The nights of tears built a well of strength you never knew existed. Chosen one, your scars are not shame. They are weapons. Each season of pain was forging in you a sword that cannot be broken. The Spirit says, what looked like destruction was construction. Heaven was building a warrior inside of you, even when you thought you were falling apart. That is why the stronghold fears you, because you are the very fire it tried to extinguish. And now, you are ready to burn down everything that stood against your bloodline. The heavens are now releasing an anointing of completion over your life. You are not here to start a fight and then retreat. You are here to finish it. The Spirit says, what you began in trembling, you will finish in power. What looked impossible yesterday will fall before you today. You carry the mantle of finisher, one who completes what was left undone. You are not here to touch the surface, you are here to uproot the root. And once the root is pulled, the entire system of darkness collapses with it. This is why your obedience now is critical, because your yes to God is the hammer that breaks the chain forever. Chosen one, understand that your victory is not only for yourself. Heaven is showing me that when you overthrow this stronghold, countless others will be set free. People connected to your life, generations after you, and even those you have not yet met. They are waiting for the chain breaker to rise. That is why the pressure has been so intense, because your victory is collective, not just personal. The enemy is terrified not only of you, but of what your breakthrough will unleash. Your obedience will echo beyond your lifetime. Your victory will rewrite history for your bloodline. This is why you cannot stop now. What you are about to do will not only change your story, it will shift the atmosphere itself. The stronghold has ruled for too long, but its time has come to an end. The Spirit declares, "You are the storm sent to dismantle the fortress. Your footsteps are shaking foundations. Your prayers are cracking walls. Your persistence is tearing down gates." By the end of this battle, nothing will remain standing except the glory of God. Chosen one, this is not a small victory. This is a generational reset. What you overthrow now will never rise again, because the assignment has been given to you, and you were born to finish it. Chosen one, the Spirit is showing me that when you step into this victory, the breakthrough will not stop with you. It will spread like fire through your family, your bloodline, and even into places you never imagined. The curses that tried to repeat through generations will be severed, and doors that were locked for decades will suddenly swing open. Your obedience, your perseverance, your endurance through the darkest nights is about to release freedom for people you don't even know are connected to you. The battlefield where you stand right now is sacred ground, because when you win here, the victory multiplies outward, touching every life attached to your destiny. That is why the Spirit has not allowed you to walk away. Your victory is bigger than you. But chosen one, you cannot fight this battle with ordinary weapons. This war is spiritual, and it demands spiritual authority. It is not about how strong your hands are, but about how anchored your soul is in God. The Spirit says, "You must put on the armor that no enemy can pierce." This means guarding your mind with truth, shielding your heart with faith, sharpening your spirit with prayer. You cannot fight darkness on its own terms. You must stand in divine authority. And when you do, no shadow will be able to withstand the light that radiates from you. You were never called to fight like everyone else. You were called to fight with power that comes from above. This is why practices like fasting, prayer, and consecration are not just rituals. They are weapons. When you set yourself apart, when you deny the flesh and lean into the Spirit, you draw heaven's armies closer to your side. Chosen one, every time you pray with sincerity, walls shake in the unseen realm. Every time you fast, chains begin to loosen. Every time you lift your voice in worship, light pierces through the battlefield. Do not underestimate the power of these weapons. They are what will carry you through the final stages of this war. They are the tools that turn ordinary people into conquerors. And know this, you are not alone in this war. The Spirit is showing me that angelic forces have been positioned around you. Even when you felt abandoned, heaven had already deployed reinforcement. You may not see them, but you have felt their presence. In moments when peace suddenly fell on you in the middle of chaos. In nights when you should have collapsed, but somehow found strength to rise again. Those were not coincidences. They were divine interventions. The Lord has assigned warriors of light to walk with you, and even now they are standing guard, ensuring that no weapon formed against you prospers. You may think the battle in your mind is a sign of weakness, but the Spirit says it is proof of how close you are to victory. Why would the enemy attack your thoughts so violently if you were not standing on the threshold of breakthrough? The confusion, the doubts, the lies whispered in the silence. They are all attempts to make you step back before you can cross over. Chosen one, do not believe the lies. You are not failing. You are not defeated. You are not losing your grip. You are in the final stretch, and the storm in your mind is the last defense of an enemy who knows he is about to fall. The Spirit is declaring this truth. Every scheme of darkness is about to be turned into testimony. Every dart thrown at you will become the evidence of God's glory. What the enemy meant for evil will be reversed, magnified, and transformed into a story of divine deliverance. Chosen one, your life will become the stage where heaven demonstrates its power. People will look at you and wonder how you survived, how you overcame, how you still stand with fire in your eyes. And the answer will be simple. Because God fought for you, because God anointed you, because God destined you to finish what you were sent to overthrow. This is not only your victory, chosen one, it is your transformation. The Spirit says, you will not come out of this battle the same. You will emerge with authority in your voice, with fire in your spirit, with eyes that see through every deception. You are being transformed into a witness, into a warrior, into one who carries living proof of God's dominion. Every scar will shine with glory. Every tear will be remembered as seed. Every trial will be known as training. You are stepping into the identity heaven has been preparing you for all along. A chosen finisher, a breaker of chains, a carrier of generational victory. Chosen one, the Spirit says the season of endless struggle is not your eternal portion. The battles you have faced, as fierce as they were, do not define you. The victory waiting for you does. The truth is that you were never created to be identified by your pain or by the chains that tried to hold you. You were created to be marked by triumph, to shine as evidence that God still delivers His people. Every scar, every tear, every moment of agony is being rewritten in the story of your restoration. The enemy wanted your identity to be rooted in your wounds, but the Spirit is declaring today, your true identity is rooted in your victory, in your calling, in your unshakable purpose. You will not walk forever as one who has been crushed. You will walk as one who carries the fragrance of survival, the weight of authority, and the crown of overcoming. And now the Spirit shows me something powerful. The burden you have carried is being lifted off your shoulders, and in its place, God is clothing you with new strength and divine authority. What once felt like a constant heaviness is about to feel like freedom, and the chains that clung to your soul are falling one by one. You may not have realized it, but every season of fire purified you until the old self burned away. And now heaven is giving you back double for every shame, joy for every mourning, beauty for every ash. Chosen one, this is the moment when the battlefield ceases to crush you and begins to elevate you. The authority you carry now cannot be shaken, because it was forged in trials and proven in storms. What the enemy thought would destroy you has become the very crown on your head. The Spirit is also saying this: once this final battle is finished, you will enter a new season of peace unlike anything you have known before. Not the fragile peace of temporary relief, but the eternal peace that comes when a war has been won completely. You will not live in the shadow of fear anymore, waiting for the next strike, the next betrayal, the next disappointment. Instead, you will stand in the light of divine rest, knowing that what tried to bind you for years has been broken for good. Chosen one, this next chapter of your life will not be marked by constant battle, but by divine inheritance. You will move into the land promised to you, and you will taste the fullness of freedom that your spirit has longed for. The battlefield will no longer define you. It will become your testimony, and your life will speak of God's dominion for generations to come. Chosen one. Remember this truth. You were not born into comfort. You were born onto a battlefield, and everything in your life has been proof of that reality. But do not forget the greater revelation. You were also born to finish what others could not. You are not here to linger in unfinished wars or incomplete victories. You are here to bring them to an end. The Spirit says, "The enemy thought he could exhaust you, but he only revealed your resilience. He thought he could silence you, but he only amplified your voice. He thought he could bury you, but he only planted you deeper into God's plan. And now, you rise not as a victim of endless battles, but as the warrior who carries the authority to declare, 'It is finished.' This is your identity, your mantle, your divine truth. Chosen one, if this word is piercing your spirit right now, I want you to do something prophetic. Type victory in the comments as a declaration of faith. This is not just interaction, it is agreement. It is you aligning with heaven, confessing with your mouth what God has already written over your life. Do not let this be just another word you hear. Seal it with your action. Like this video if it resonates in your soul, and make sure you are subscribed, because every message that flows here is another weapon for your journey. You are not alone, and this community of chosen warriors is proof that heaven has a remnant rising. Your engagement is more than support. It is warfare. And hear this prophetic declaration. The same people who doubted you, who mocked you, who said you would never overcome, will witness the evidence of your breakthrough. They will see doors open that no man can shut. They will watch blessings unfold that no curse could hold back. They will stand in awe at the radiance of your transformation. The Spirit says, your life will silence the lies spoken against you, and your elevation will be the very vindication they never expected. Do not waste energy proving yourself. God Himself is preparing to showcase your victory before those who dismissed you. You will not just overcome privately. Your breakthrough will be seen openly. Chosen one, this next season is not about survival. It is about dominion. You will no longer live as one barely holding on, but as one who walks in confidence, who knows the authority they carry, who operates with divine clarity. The battlefield that once broke you will now bow before you, and every spirit that rose against you will recognize the seal of God on your life. You are stepping into new territory where your words carry weight, your prayers shift atmospheres, and your presence releases peace. The Spirit says, you are not moving into the end of your story. You are moving into the beginning of your reign. Dominion is your portion, and no one can take it from you. So let this be sealed in your heart. This is not the end. This is the beginning of your dominion, the beginning of your expansion, the beginning of the testimony that will echo through generations. Chosen one, you have finished what you came to overthrow, and now heaven opens the scroll of your new season. Walk forward without fear, without hesitation, without apology. The battlefield has crowned you, the fire has refined you, and God has declared over you, it is done. This is your moment, your mantle, your calling fulfilled. Now rise, for the battle is over, and victory is written in your name.